In this video, I'm looking at Wesley Chu's The Art of Prophecy. Hello AOS fans, Robin here. About 2, maybe 3 of you said you'd like to see more book reviews, so here I am with another book review. And the book this week is The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu. It's by Daphne Press. I have to thank the lovely people at Black Crow PR for sending me this book to review for Geek Dad. And I thought, well, I've written a review for Geek Dad, which is available, and I'll put a link in the description below. But I'll do a little video review for it too. So here we go, there's a bonus video review for Wesley Chu, The Art of Prophecy. So, you know, prophecy, combat, 2 great features of many fantasy novels, and The Art of Prophecy has both in abundance. It's the first book in the War Art saga, and we have a land that's riven by war with 2 factions fighting each other. There's loads of great characters in the novel, and some of the best fight scenes I've seen read in any fantasy novel ever. Lots of their wuxia-inspired. Wesley Chu is a big fan of the wuxia genre of films, so we're talking things like House of Falling Daggers, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, loads of other stuff, you know, not just the stuff that sort of made it into Western consciousness. A big back catalogue of great movies, which I have to say I haven't seen very many of them, but you really get that kind of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon feel when I think it might be the House of Flying Daggers. You get that Crouching Tiger feel with the fight scenes, sort of epic fight scenes with kind of stamping on steps of air and flitting out between shadows and things. It's really exciting, and like I say, some of the best fight scenes I think I've ever seen, ever read in a novel. I keep saying seen, but I mean read. But a novel can't exist only on its fights. You've got to have a reason for those fights to be occurring, and the characters have to be compelling, and all of that goes on in the book. And it's Wesley Chu subverts a lot of the traditional genre tropes of the fantasy genre, and the main one is prophecy, funnily enough. And he kind of asks the question of what happens if the soothsayers get it wrong. One of my favourite books when I was growing up, or my whole favourite fantasy series of books when I was growing up, back in the 80s, was David Eddings' Belgariad, which starts with the Pawn of Prophecy. And in that book, Garion is a farm boy. I mean, it's very tropey now, but Garion was a farm boy with, he had the destiny he didn't know about, that was prophesied, but he didn't know about it, and he becomes the chosen one, etc., etc. This book starts with the chosen one. So there is this. Like I said, there are these 2 warring factions. One side has the great and immortal Khan, who basically is what keeps their side in the fight. If he wasn't for him, then the opposing side would win. There's 5 dukes rule that kingdom, and that's much stronger, but they can't kill this immortal Khan. Except Xian is the chosen one. He is going to be the one who kills the great immortal Khan. He has been prophesied for that. He has been put at the central head of a religion. He's worshipped. He lives in a palace. He's waited upon hand and foot. He's got all the best masters to teach him how to fight, because he is going to kill the immortal Khan. As the novel opens, there's been a rumour that Xian is totally spoiled and isn't going to be any good at doing that. It's a war master called Tiashi goes to see what's going on, and she just doesn't like what she finds. So just as she's about to sort of take control of Xian's life and try and train him properly, because he's, like I say, he's really spoiled, disaster strikes because, and this is right at the beginning of the novel, so I'm not really giving it anyway, the great and immortal Khan is killed in a random skirmish, and suddenly the prophecy has collapsed. There's no need for Xian anymore, and the kind of powerful 5 dukes I mentioned earlier, they take a look at him and think, well, actually, any one of my rivals, because they're all rivaling for the sort of supremacy in this kingdom, could use him as a figurehead, or somebody might use him as a figurehead, or he might actually become super powerful because he was foretold to have been. So the best thing to do is if we just kill him. So Tiashi and Xian basically run for it. She doesn't think that killing him is a good idea. She's confused as to what's gone on with the prophecy, but she thinks probably killing him is a bad idea. So they escape into the night. But Xian's life is destroyed, so he's gone from being everything to nothing. And so part of this novel is sort of part coming of age novel, part of him coming to terms with what's going on there. Xian's got to come to terms with who he really is, rather than this pompous, spoiled brat. So against that, we've got another thread of story which takes part within the family of the great and immortal Khan. So he has now died. Their nation were basically being only kept in it by his existence, and so they're very quickly overrun. So we see something again we don't always see in fantasy novels. We see the aftermath of a great battle. They lose. They have these amazing moving cities which move through these big plains of kind of, I guess, bamboo grass type of stuff. They're always sort of nomadic, but they basically get taken down, and the people are they're not enslaved, but they're indentured to work for the victors. The great and immortal Khan's sister, she survives, and the way it works is that he's not really, the great and immortal Khan has been around for a long time, and he's not actually the same person. When one dies, they find a new one to fulfill the role, and so she pledges herself to go and do that. So she goes off. She finds herself sort of deep in enemy territory, looking amongst these indentured people from her country, trying to find the next Khan. And so you've got that story going on with Xian and Tiashi's story as well. And so there's a couple of other threads too, and they all kind of interweave as the novel builds to the end. I won't spoil what happens, but you've got these two warring factions, but the way Wesley Chu has written it, we feel for both sides. So you kind of inevitably know they're on a collision course, and so you've got this sort of choice at the end of, well, who do I root for? It's quite a mean thing for the author to have done, quite frankly. But it does culminate quite satisfactorily. Is the War Saga series, so we're going to see more books going along, and there's a few twists at the end that set up nicely for book 2. I love the kind of martial arts aspect of the book, so that's all woven into these excellent fight scenes I was talking about before. It's all very clever, and there's lots of great different fighting styles and things which are really evocative and keep the novel moving. Tiashi is sort of old master. She's only got one arm. She's quite grumpy. She's a figure that you will probably recognise from fiction, but she is a very, very enjoyable character. She's brings great humour to the book, and I very much enjoyed her. Really wanted her to come out on top. So there's lots of great stuff going on in the book. I thoroughly recommend it. It came out in April, at the beginning of April in the UK. I think it's about to come out in paperback in the US, so you might want to hold off for a month or so. Big thank you to Black Crow PR for sending that over. It's a really great book. We've got a great blend of action. It's a coming-of-age story. There's some political intrigue as well. We've got several different people we want to root for, but they can't all win, so that's kind of interesting. And like I say, it ends very satisfactorily. It's it's a really great start to a new series that's just in a really interesting setting with some absolutely breathtaking action scenes and some really great characters, which is probably all you really want from a book, isn't it? So do let me know if you enjoyed this video. Do let me know if you've read any other Wesley Chu novels. He's written a few others. I've not read any. I'd be interested to know which ones are good, which one I should pick up next. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Let me know what you're reading at the moment. I'd love to talk books. Let me know if you've read any other Asian-inspired fantasy novels. I've recently read The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which I really enjoyed, but I think overall I enjoyed this one more. Yep, do let me know what you're reading, what sort of things you enjoy. I love talking about books, and we'll see you soon somewhere on the Agents of Sigmar. Bye for now. Bye!